Good morning, student. Today we are going to read class 7th s.st Geography, chapter number 10, Transport and Communication, part 3rd. So, in the previous two videos, we had read about the different means of transportation system, and in this video, we'll read about the next, that is the communication. So, what is the meaning of communication? So, communication is what? It is just a process which is exchange of ideas, thought, and information through the medium of speech, writing, behavior, or signals, basically sign. So the process which is being used to inculcate or to talk with someone, if we talk, or if we write something, or if we uh, provide any kind of signal or the sign that the another people can understand, that is the communication. If we cannot make the people understand our terms, so that will not considered as a communication. But the people, if the person whom we are communicating, if that person is able to understand, so that means the communication. So you know very well, during the earliest time, people used various means of communication. Like the first, it was the birds. So birds were used to carry the messages to the one part of the area to the another part of the area. So people were used, peasants, they tie the messages on the feet or in their body. So they were trained peasants, basically they were the trained peasants. They carry the messages from one place to another. After some time, people have started using the messenger, the human messenger. They used to carry the messages in the form of verbal from one place to another, or in the written from one place to another. So these are some of the uh, some of the sources that we can say that makes the possible communication between one person to another person. Now, after the time has changed, the developments led to the development which is in the field of industrial, or the we can say the industrial, basically industrial development, that led to the change of means of the communication from the peasants to the current one which we are using, the cell phones or the telephones, basically cell phones or the smartphones. So if I say, during the time when the invention of writing was there, so it has started giving the chance to people to communicate with each other. When there was no language, when the people used to talk in sign language, but after when they started talking and when they started writing, that helps them to communicate very easily. So if a person is living from one area, and if he or she has to communicate, so they can write it and send it to the next person, those who wanted to communicate. So the process has been changed from one of the sending pigeons or the messenger to the next, that is the printing press. So printing press is what? Because the printing press is there, so if we have to give a same message to number of people, so we need printing. The message can be printed, and it is to be distributed among the rest of the people. So invention of printing press, that helps in a communication a lot. So the first printing press which was introduced or invented by the German inventor, that is, his name was Johannes Gutenberg. It's around 1439. So Johannes Gutenberg, he had invented the printing press, which can print hardly it prints it takes very time to print a one page, single page, basically. But this has give a pace to the development of the printing press after some time. So this gives the chance to communicate with one to communicate one message to the various or the large scale of people through the printing. and through the books basically. When again the development has took, so they had started the telegraph. So telegraph is what it has in, it is the basically electrical impulses that can be sent through the wires. So these are, so basically it is a telegraph that is invented in 1837, and it is said that it was developed by the Samuel F.B. Morse on 1844. So he developed the telegraph machine that is helpful during that time, but it was connected through wires. But it was connected to through wires. If the connectivity of the telegraph is there, so the messages can be sent through it. And when there is a system called postal system, when it has developed during that time, so it carried the millions of the letters and the parcel to the destination all over the world by road, rail, air and sea. So this postal system which has been developed in that era, so that gives the chance people to communicate easily. This has made on purposely that the this group or the postal system is used to communicate with one person to another. It has, this is the particular, or we can say this is the proper means of communication during the earliest time. But nowadays that technology has changed. Nowadays people did not use the pigeons or the messengers. People using do not use the telegraph or the postal system. People has changed, people has switched from these things to the new development which has take place from the earliest time. The people is still, people are using nowadays telephones or the cellular phones basically, or the smartphone. Nowadays the people can communicate. Now the technology has developed up to till that we can communicate with the person, those who are living far from us, through the by seeing their faces we can talk to them. So this is the invention, or this is the development that has led to the humankind, and it changed the way of communication system from the earliest time. Now the communication, it has been divided into two parts. That is the that is the personal communication and the mass communication. So basically personal communication is what, when we have to talk to the one person to another, means we can talk to the face to face, we can use the letter and the post, we can use the telephone and email. So these are some of the form of personal communication. If we have to communicate to the one person or two person, but if we have to communicate to the several person or number of person or group of person, so we need a mass communication like television, radio, internet, newspaper, satellite. There are many more things are there that can be used for the purpose of the mass communication. Why mass communication is there? Because for personal communication, if we have to talk, if we have to exchange our thoughts from one person or two person, so we can use it, we can use the personal communication means of communication. But if we have to provide the same message to the masses or the group of people or the number of people, thousands of people, so we need the means of mass communication that will help us to inform or provide the message to the number of people at a time, at the same time, with the same message. Now there are more development during the modern period of the modern period or the modern history of the world, like invention of telephone. So invention of telephone during the time of 1857, that revolutionized the long distance communication by providing a different facilities. So during the 1857, when the telephone was discovered, or we can say invent, so it has provided the cheapest means of communication after the telegraph. So telegraph was used. Telegraph is, as it is not been understood by the several section of people, but the telephonic conversation is very helpful for the people those who did not understand the telegraph. So this has gives the chance to development of the telephonic conversation. So it is uh, it is divided into two, that is the basically the telephonic system which was introduced in that time, that was used or that is run by the operators. Basically it was run by the operator, telephone operator. See, if you have to call someone, so first you have to call the telephone operator. So what is the work of telephone operator? The telephone operator will make you will link you to the another telephone operator, and that another telephone operator will call you to the next number, those who to whom you wanted to talk. So this create the many uh, many chains for the for that you have to communicate to one person to another. But the ISD or STD has provide the that gives the changes to the this telephonic operator, like international direct dialing or the international subscriber dialing. This is the ISD, and it was used to call into the internet on the international level. If you want to call international, if you have to give an international call, then you have to dial the international subscriber dialing, and at that time you do not need the telephone operator, so you can dial the directly number by using the ISD. And STD, this has also changed. So if you want to call into your area, into your country, so you need to dial the STD number, and this also will help you without the operator's assistance. So there is no need of the operator assistant. The term that was introduced when it was first become possible for the long distance call to be dialed directly, but now rarely it has been used. Nowadays everything it is relatable to the cell phones. Now people do not use the ISD or the STD phone calls. The time has changed, and from the STD and PCO this has been changed to the cellular phones. Now people are connecting with each other directly without dialing the ISD and the STD. Now you can see the changes from telephone, from a kg to the weight to the now it has reduced to the grams of the phones. So this is the changes that was seen from one phase to the last phase till now which we are using. Now there satellite, you understand very well. Satellite is what? It is a small object that orbits or revolve around the larger object in the space. So basically our earth. So our earth, there are so many artificial satellites are there that is in the space. So what is the work of satellite? They just they just send the radio wave backs to the earth surface. So it is used for the mass it is also used for the personal communication as well as the mass communication, while using the radio, television, internet. So this is very helpful for the communication system, the media system basically also. And these artificial satellites, it is used for the uh, is used for the study of the earth and the other planet. It is also help us to communicate, and it also observe the distant universe means the activities which is noticed in the universe, that is also recorded by the artificial satellite. Satellite data can be used in many ways, like it allows us to analyze the weather from the space. So the weather forecast you have seen in the newspaper or the television, so that weather forecast is also uh, done by the artificial satellite. And we can also see the changes in the climatic pattern, and also we can estimate the sea and ice level. So this will help us to know about how much quantity of water is there, how much the ice level is there on the polar regions. So this satellites will help us to know exactly what is there. The internet is very well known to you. This is the global communication that help us to know from one part of the world to the another part of the world. So this has been used for the world wide web, that is www, and internet. So basically this is help us to access the information or send emails anywhere in the world by clicking a one button or a mouse. So this has helped a lot. And uh, the different development that we have done from the since ages, from the earliest time till now, this all things, it is done by the human being, and for the purpose that to make the human being's life easier and easier. But doing all those things, we had done a lot, we have done a lot of wrong things through our to our environment. So we have to see, we have to look after the environment and nature as well. If we'll not look, so this will create a problem. Means now we are using all those things, now we are utilizing all those things, but after some time, when those things will not be there with us, so how will survive? So this is why we need the sustainable development. You know very well, the sustainable development should be there, that we need those things, yes we need, but we should have to use those things in a mannered way, that in a such way that the next generation can use all those things. Now what you have to do in your homework, that you have to write the uh, name of some of the personal communication and the mass communication in your homework copy. The chapter is over. Thank you, students.